right honourable gentleman's words would be less hypocritical and absurd if it were not for the fact that I
don't believe anybody's a hypocrite in this chamber. I think we need to be a little bit careful about what we're saying to each other. There was a not truth earlier, and there was also comparisons to others. Please, let's keep the discipline in this chamber and the respect for each other. We're tidying up how this Parliament behaves, and I certainly expect the leadership of both parties to ensure that takes place. Prime Minister, would you like to withdraw hypocrisy?
I'm delighted to be advised by you, Mr. Speaker. Let me confine my criticism to the absurdity of which I hope is acceptable, Mr. Speaker, of the right honourable gentleman attacking us over free school meals when it was a Conservative government that instituted free school meals, universal free, not a Labour government, and of the 280 billion that we have spent securing the jobs and the livelihoods of people across this country, uprating universal credit, increasing and in addition increasing the living wage by record amounts this year and last year, increasing local housing allowance. The overwhelming majority, the bulk of the measures, the benefits fall in favour of the poorest and the neediest in society, which is what this House would expect. And Mr. Speaker, he takes one position one week, one position the next. That is what he does. That's been his whole lamentable approach throughout this, if I can get away with lamentable, Mr. Speaker, throughout this pandemic. And he says he supports the vaccine now. He says he supports the vaccine rollout, and he goes and tries to associate himself with it because he senses that it is going well. But don't be in no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that was the party that wanted us, this country, to stay in the European Union vaccine programme. He stood on a manifesto. He stood on a manifesto which he has not repudiated, Mr. Speaker, to dismantle the very pharmaceutical companies that have created this miracle of science, which is true.
Prime Minister, there are questions, and sometimes we've got to try and answer the question to what was asked of you. I think to run through the history is one thing, but in fairness, it is Prime Minister's questions. What I would say is it was the final question. We've got lots of others to go through. So I think what I'm going to do now is move on to Simon Jupp in Sidmouth, who's desperate to ask a question of you, Prime Minister.
We will make America great again.